Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Nick from MMA Pixels here with Taylor Turner. How are you doing, Taylor?
Good. Thanks for having me, Nick.
Oh, thanks for joining us. I know you have a fight coming up January 19th at Valor Fighting Challenge 54 against Ashley Samples.
Correct. Yes, that's it.
So how's training going leading into this fight?
It's been going really well. Before Christmas and all the holidays and stuff, I had a fight in November. And then I had a previous one scheduled for October, but it fell through just 'cause I got injured like the week of just kind of overtraining a little bit and got hurt something. So I went straight from that, healed, and then got blessed to have a fight in Detroit right away to kind of get my feet wet again. And then got a break over the holidays just a little bit, about 2 weeks, and then just jumped right back into it. So really, I've stayed in great shape over the past couple of months just because, our theory is kind of if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. So it's been really well so far. It's been going really good.
You said you had a break over the holidays. Was that like completely, or you just went from, twice a day to one a day?
No, it's never really completely. We traveled a little bit. My family's from Wisconsin, and obviously I'm in Tennessee right now. So when I was up there, I take time and just train a little bit, like run when I can, and go to the gym and do some of that stuff. And there have been a couple MMA gyms or jujitsu gyms up there that I've worked out with in the past. I didn't get a chance to do that this time, but mostly, like I said, was just going to the gym, and my strength and conditioning coach, Frankie Padilla from Frankie's Body Shop, would send me the workouts to do. So just little things like that.
Uh, when you're in camp preparing for a fight, do you look at tape of your opponent?
We do. Our coach is big on watching films ahead of the time just to help develop a really good game plan. And even though we do game plan, we're also kind of like not getting too focused on doing the one thing. I think our coach is obviously has lots of fighters, and so he has done a great job of being able to deal with each of us and our styles. He doesn't have a style that he teaches everybody. He has styles, and then depending on where your strengths and weaknesses are, he kind of builds you up and helps you along in other areas. So we watch film, we kind of get a game plan down, but we try not to focus too hard because sometimes when you're in there and if you're just thinking, oh, I gotta strike, that's all I'm doing, and then you get taken down, then you're like, well, that's not the game plan, and it kind of gets in your head. So I'd say yes, we watch film, we get a game plan, but also just work around our strengths too. So try to focus in on that, if that makes sense.
No, absolutely. Who's your coach?
Oh, I'm sorry, Eric Turner.
And
He's our head coach, and Joey Zonar is our other head coach.
and
So
what gym is that?
Knoxville Martial Arts Academy.
Hold on. Who are some of your training partners?
Well, some of the ones that are fighting on the card coming up are Christina Ricker, Adcock, Jason, the Asian Persuasion, you've talked to him before, and then Carmen Milagros. And obviously, our big name ones are like Ovint St. Peru. He trains there, and Nick Gertz, he's been in Bellator before, so those are some of the bigger names. And Olivia Parker, she's making her pro debut along with some of our other people, and she's been on the Reddit sites and everything, kind of been up along her journey of MMA and being that. So Emily Getty, or King, she just got married to Jason King, so she's another really good one. Morgan Hickam and Shamir Peshewa. I know I'm naming off lots of names, and I feel horrible if I forget just even one person because they're all key in helping us just develop and train and go further.
Right, yeah. I mean, it seems to be working for you guys to have like all those fighters there and all
Yeah.
pushing for the same goal. It seems like.
Well, and one of the nice things, like I said, that we have is since we have so many different body types and fighters, there's different fighting types. So you get a chance to kind of train with somebody who the coach has looked at your opponent for. So some people are really like to switch stances, and they can do that. And if I'm fighting somebody who can do that, then I can train with a person who is well versed in that. Or if they're really good off the ground, off their back, well then I can train with somebody who has that kind of style, or tall and skinny, or shorter and heavier. And all body types, and that kind of helps to get a grasp on who you're going to be fighting. So.
Right. I interviewed some of your teammates before, and they mentioned that you're big into nutrition.
Yes, I have one of my degrees from the University of Minnesota has a concentration in food science and nutrition. So I have typically been one of the people who've helped a lot with the nutrition in our gym. Jason King is another one who does it as well, and it works awesome because I've gone out to the Performance Institute and kind of learned from some of their people before out the UFC Performance Institute. And so we have a really awesome conglomerate of like opportunities to try what works, what doesn't. We've developed a lot over time, but I'd say that's probably one of my big areas I help everybody else out in, answering those questions, kind of developing their diets and making them make weight.
Can you just kind of walk me through like a typical weight cut?
Yeah, you mean as far as like diet goes?
Yeah. It's just on since you have
Yep.
a lot more knowledge than the average person, it would be interesting to hear your take on it.
So obviously it depends on how much somebody has to lose, but pretty much we kind of follow a system of starting at 4 weeks out. I have people just clean up your diet. I mean, you can still eat your full fat yogurts and have some cheese and even some chocolate and some ice cream at night. Like that's fine. Just clean it up in general because sometimes fighters where we're so strict, some of them tend to go to the other extreme and hit Pizza Hut every single night kind of thing. And they're like, okay, we can't do that. So just the first week is giving them a thing like oatmeal in the morning with some sort of healthy protein like an egg or bacon, and then for lunch kind of a similar like okay, you can pick out depending once again at their body size and stuff, but I'll just throw out a middle ground one. 6 ounces of some lean meat. It could be steak, chicken, tofu, whatever it is you want. Throw a couple of vegetables in there and then another healthy carb. Same thing for dinner, and then I give them suggestions of things to eat for during training, depending on if they're doing cardio versus like powerlifting. You kind of need different energy sources then. So that's the first week, and then by the second week, we kind of strict it up just a little bit more. We're saying like, okay, you might just be eating chicken and fish right now. Need to cut out a little bit more of the red meat. Cut out some other people like cut out the cheese, that kind of thing. And then by the second week, yet again, depending on where they are, get us a little bit stricter. And by the last week, most people are on like chicken and fish and egg whites and spinach. And then during training is when you kind of get your carbs and stuff or some more fat and like like the snack packs are really good things. We have the cheese and the nuts and stuff. So we keep those around a lot. And then also one of my favorite things is on our last week is shock blocks. I use them for running a lot actually for like their instant energy. So you don't actually store anything, but it's a little bit of a sugar kind of base and some have extra salt and caffeine in it. So that can help you during training when you're just exhausted, your weight's getting down there and all the above. And then there's a water load we do and then a water cut a little bit towards the end. So that's the basics. I mean, in each person, I tailor it differently towards them. And some people's bodies are more responsive to when you cut out carbs, they lose super fast. Other people, if you cut out carbs, they actually don't lose. And so you got to just play with each person. So liking nutrition, it's fun for me to have so many different body types to kind of draw from and get a chance to experiment with them. We always say kind of for science in our gym. We do everything for science. So.
Do you do like a test cut with somebody the first time you work with them, or?
Yeah, so if an amateur comes in and if they need to lose 15 or 20 pounds for their first fight, what we'll typically do is start them off a couple weeks earlier and just say, okay, we're going to get strict right away. Like I'd put them at like the 3rd week diet / 2nd week diet and see how their body responds to it and how well they do. Because there's a lot of people who they're not used to being strict either. And so they're like, I swear, I follow the diet completely straight to it. And you look in their bag, you're like, yeah, but there's an Arby's wrapper right there. They're like, well, I mean, just had that. But other than that, strict to the diet. So then those people, you're going to have a little bit more control and you have to give them exactly what to eat, versus somebody else who is excited to follow the diet and stay on it and see the results. You can give them a little bit more leeway with things. So first timers, we experiment a little bit ahead of time just to see how well they listen, how well their body responds, and kind of go from there.
Does that add any extra pressure on yourself to make weight? Like, no, like you can't miss weight, right?
Oh, for sure. And I think that's one of, I'm actually married to the head coach too, and I'm one of the longest reigning female fighters here. I really am. And so I'm one of the coaches and strength and conditioning coaches and everything else. So there's an extra element of added pressure to lead by example. And most of the time, I mean, it's pretty good. And I like what I do and I like to be healthy and I like to do it so it's not too hard. But there are some times where I'm just like, well, I want my, Reese's peanut butter cups right now. But if I eat it and everybody else finds out, then they're going to think they can do it. So dang it, I don't get it. So there's a little bit of extra pressure.
Yeah, it starts with one Reese's Pieces cup, huh?
It does. But I've been very blessed to this date. I've always made weight and stuff. And having the head coach as my husband make me cut weight too, that's helped a lot as well because, he doesn't baby me at all when it comes to that stuff. So if we're doing the bath or the sauna or whatever it may be for those last couple pounds, and I'm like, I just can't do it. He's like, well, too bad you're doing it. I'm like, okay.
So you've been fighting for a while. I think, is this your 11th fight?
That's a good question. This will be my 6th pro fight, and I think as amateur I had 4 or 5. So yeah, it's either my 10th or 11th.
It's the beginning of 2019. You're having a fight, in January. Where do you see yourself as far as MMA next year, 2020 January?
That's a good question. I think I've changed a lot over the past couple of years and what my goals are. And there was a time, when I first started doing MMA, I just want to see if I could defend myself. And then I like competition, so it was just kind of fun to do. And then after a little while, I was kind of talk about pressures. Yet again, I put a little bit of extra pressure on me to be like, well, maybe I have to aim for the UFC. Maybe I have to aim for all these things. And that's kind of where mentally I hit a little bit of a roadblock for a little while and got developed even a little stage of or case of cage fight for a little bit there. I was like, what's wrong with me? Like, I didn't do it. And it's because it took the fun out of it for me. So for me in this next year, what I really want to do, and I tell everybody, I'm 35, so I'm a little bit on the older end of it all, but I want to do it for me for as long as I want. And if it goes somewhere to the bigger stage, that would be good too. But I have so many of my young fighters who I help coach and do their nutrition for and stuff. And I want to see them, go up fast and go far fast. So, and just for me, I just want to remember to have fun in there and get back to why I started it. So that might be a little bit different than some people, but I like it. So just got to remember that.
Right. Where can the fans connect with you on social media?
I'm on Facebook. I'm Taylor Turner MMA. I also have a website, Taylor Turner or Taylor Made Fitness, and it's in Tennessee. And I think you probably, if you know what I look like from here, figure out the picture that I'm on it. And then on Instagram, I'm also Taylor Made Fitness. So,
Taylor Turner, January 19th, Valor Fighting Challenge 54. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nick. I appreciate it.